Everyone online talks about how to make your business successful, but the most important thing is just not messing up really bad. I'm going to go over the 7 ways to guarantee your business will fail. And I can almost assure you that most of you are doing some of these now. Number 1 is cash flow. Now that's poor cash flow or bad cash flow or inconsistent cash flow. This is by far what kills all businesses. So we all hear the statistics. How many businesses fail? 80, 90%. In fact, only 20% of businesses make it 20 years or more. And why is that? Cash flow. There's a lot of things that can drive cash flow, but most people don't focus on it enough. They focus on all the other things that don't have to do with cash flow. They're spending and overhead and high rent and all the things that can kill cash flow. So the key here is to have multiple streams of income in your business coming in from a lot of different sources. Because when you have lots of money coming in from different buckets or different sources of revenue, and it might be even different types of clients, then you have diverse cash flow. You always have to anticipate that you're not going to have revenue coming in like you did the prior month. As a famous quote from Ray Kroc is, you are either green and growing or you're ripe and rotten. You're one of the other. The second one is the market itself. So there's either no market, a small market, a changing market. This is the life of an entrepreneur. So markets ebb and flow, and sometimes they're really, really strong and there's a lot of stuff happening, and other times they're not. So think of technology, how much that has changed so many businesses. Just think of media like newspapers and paper books and hard books and all that, the bookstores. Think of travel agents. These are changes in the market. This is when IT or technology has stepped in. Think of Amazon killing the mom and pops throughout the United States and all these small communities. These are market changes. The other thing I find a lot of times, people start businesses and there's no market at all. They're just emotionally caught up in their product and there was never a market in the first place. Or it's such a small market. There's a vacuum repair shop near my house and there's even a video rental place. You guys remember those? Those are dead. Those all went online. So sometimes when people start businesses, they don't think or adapt to the market. Even Netflix started off with videos that were actually mailed to your house, and then you would mail them back. That's how they started, and then they eventually went online. They obviously adapted to the market. Years ago, I used to use a driver. I came back from San Francisco one day, and I said, Ted, I just used Uber, and I think you should be concerned. And he's like, that's a come and go technology. Well, needless to say, Ted's out of business today. Uber's now taken over. So you have to pay attention to your market, or you want to ride the expansion, or just at least be cognizant of the contraction so you can adjust, because it doesn't mean that you have to go down. The third one is a customer service strategy. I see this all the time. Now this, of course, can be done whether it's bricks and mortar or online. Online is much easier because when somebody buys something from you, you now have their information. So you can actually put them into a customer service strategy email campaign, as example. If they're bricks and mortar, you should be getting their information when they buy stuff from you. This is one of the biggest problems. Most customers come in and they buy something from somebody and it's transactional and you never see them again. This can happen in a shoe store, it can happen in a restaurant, it can happen online. It doesn't really matter. But you need to keep the customer engaged at all times. And you have to listen to them because there might be things that they don't like, and the online ratings can kill you. So the customer service strategy needs to be ongoing. Think of it as a retention of a customer that's already bought from you. Whereas most businesses, what they do is they focus on new customers. Most all the advertising and marketing money that people spend are for people they've never met. And really, the best strategy is just taking care of the people that have already done business with you. If you don't know, I run MC Companies. We have over 300 employees, own over 10,000 apartments, and have transacted over $3 billion in real estate transactions. Over the next 12 months, I plan on buying over $1 billion of real estate. I'm going to be doing a free webinar on June 25th, going over exactly what we're doing as a company. You can click here to sign up. The fourth is marketing and branding. Now, most people are bad at this. So there's a lot of businesses that don't even have websites. There's a lot of businesses that don't even have social media, which is crazy because social media is free. So why wouldn't you just post some stuff on Facebook or Instagram? Now, I know a lot of you might not like social media, but that's not the point here, is it? The point here is to keep your customer engaged and to let more people know about you. It's very, very easy to create social media campaigns, and you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to post multiple times a day. You just need to post things that you're proud of. Maybe it's your customers. Maybe it's a new product you got. Maybe it's something that you're rolling out. Maybe it's new office hours. It doesn't really matter, but these are all things that you can do online, and it's free. This branding, social media, and marketing is so important, especially when you get a big following. If you just ask your customers to sign up for things like Facebook or Instagram, as an example, while they're there, which you can do with a QR code, they go into your portal, and now you can communicate with them at all times. And sometimes they just might come back in. And that's kind of the whole point, is to keep the customer engaged in between visits. The other thing is you have to understand things from a customer standpoint. If you have a website where they can buy things online without talking to anybody and they already understand what you sell, then that's the best thing ever, because you can walk in the morning and see all the orders, and all you have to do is fulfill them. And then, of course, just ask them to come back and respond to social media, and it all works together. Number 5 is hiring the wrong people. Now, this might seem obvious, but I know all of you have had experiences at restaurants or maybe a retail location where you had somebody that was just incredibly rude, or you had somebody that was having a bad day, or whatever it is. Those are not the kind of people you want interfacing with your customer. I always tell people, hire on attitude and then train them, because you can't take somebody negative and untrain the negativity inside of them. They have to do it themselves. Now, not everyone's negative, but you got to have somebody positive. You got to have somebody that enjoys where they are. You got to have somebody that's happy to be at the job that they're at, engaging with the customer. So hiring the wrong person, the person that answers the phone, the customer service person, or just somebody that comes through, that interface, that experience with the customer is so important, because if it's negative, the chances of them not coming back are very, very high. And this is something that you'll never, ever know. Hiring the wrong people can do significant damage to you. In fact, these people and these people alone can have the biggest impact on your cash flow, more than you know. Because what you'll have is you won't have clients coming back in, and you might not even have clients come in for the first time if they're calling or emailing and they're not getting responses. All of those have to do with the face of your company and the interaction that they're getting from the public. The 6th one is location. Now, for a lot of you that are online, this is not going to be applicable, but there's so many businesses out there that rely on location. So I'll give you a couple examples. Many of you might have listened to the YouTube video with Lisa Sutton, who has mailbox location. So Robert Kiyosaki and I flew to Vegas to actually look at the locations. So her locations of her mailbox companies, which are simply just mailboxes that people go in and ship Amazon packages or go get their mail, are all over Las Vegas. And she has some in some really good locations and some in some not so good locations. And so by doing that, you can kind of ask really good questions. And one of the things I learned from her is that some of the best locations are located next to big, nationally recognized anchored grocery stores. Because what happens is people, while they're shopping, they're showing up and they're parking in the parking lot and they see the mailbox company right next to there. And so they start to bring their stuff with them while they're shopping. So their habits are they're already going to get groceries, so they automatically look around and what do they see? Dry cleaners, post office, water store, those kinds of things. And so these locations are very, very, very important. And what I found a lot of times is people oftentimes make really bad decisions by having poor locations because they're trying to save a little bit money on the rent. So they save a little bit on rent, but then they don't have the foot traffic, which of course doesn't generate the cash flow. One of the biggest issues is locations. This is why McDonald's, for example, even Ray Kroc himself would say, we're not in the hamburger business, we're in the real estate business. And most of the McDonald's, for example, are in some of the best locations in the world. Same with a lot of banks, and same with a lot of really well-established businesses are all on the best corners, on all the best areas. And there's a reason for that, because there's an awareness there, because people aren't that mindful. They're driving along and they pull in and they, oh, I better go get this, I better go get that. And then they start to build habits. So you really, really want to make sure whatever it is you're going to do, especially with bricks and mortar, that you're in the right location so you get the optimal amount of traffic, which turns into cash flow. And the seventh one is bad partnerships. And I see this all the time. I see it a lot with friends. So what happens is friends will be sitting around having a cocktail, maybe playing a little golf, and they come up with an idea and they go, yeah, man, let's do that together. And then they partner up. And that's when they quickly realize who's the good partner, who's the bad partner. Now, this isn't always the case, but in my experience, before you go into any kind of partnership, you have to have a very candid discussion with each other about what your role is. Because most scenarios I see that have bad partnerships, there's usually one partner that's pulling all the weight and the other partner is not doing hardly anything. And so the one that's doing all the work, they start to get resentful and you start to see an erosion of the cash flow and the whole overall business itself, because they're not happy about the partnership, because they might be splitting the profits 50-50 if there are any. They feel like it's not equitable because they're actually doing more work. So what we see a lot of times is the good partners break up the partnerships and then start it on their own. For example, you've lost a friend and there's other damage that can ensue from the actual business itself. I've been in business over 33 years, have over 300 employees, have bought over 10,000 apartments, equating for over $3 billion in real estate transactions. And during that time, I've made as many mistakes as anyone. I've just made a video to help you guys not make the same mistakes as me and hopefully fast track your way to financial freedom. Watch that here.